So, what's up people and welcome to the Chapter 102 discussion of Kaiju number 8 or Kaiju 8号. So Chapter 102 came out about 10 days ago, and as always I will leave a link to this chapter that's currently being shown on the publisher's official website, Manga Plus, for free to the North American audience. So if you're interested, yeah, we'll go take a look at it before they pull this chapter back. Okay, so Chapter 102. At the end of Chapter 101, I was all ready to watch Kafka go after monster number 9. We had a really dramatic moment where Leno tells Kafka, you have to go, and you could leave this to us. And so, yeah, Chapter 102 was a little bit of a surprise because we didn't go into the story of Kafka. Instead, we went into the story of the other members that used to be with Kafka in the original team. And though I enjoyed Chapter 102 quite a bit, I do understand the frustration by a lot of people who are really looking forward to watching Kafka, the main character, and having to wait once again. And it does put a little bit of a downplay on Chapter 101, which kind of made you riled up over being able to watch Kafka go after monster number 9. But in any case, yeah, 102 was nice by itself, and it almost feels like an author-written filler. And once again, it covers some of the other members that used to be in Kafka's team when he originally joined the JDF, aside from Leno, of course. And the chapter begins with Kafka moving away from Leno, and so the other members of that team are told to move out. And one of the members of that team is, of course, Iharu Furuhashi. And so he's all ready to go out, and yet his commanding officer, Commander Ogata, notices that he is looking apprehensive. And so he tells Furuhashi to don't worry too much about it and go out and do what you have to do. And we find out that Furuhashi has been training under Ogata with regards to the way he fights. And it turns out that unlike the other JDF soldiers, Iharu doesn't have the ability to bring the power of his battlesuit up to a sufficient level during the majority of the battle. But what he does have is the ability for a very short time to really spike up the efficiency of the battlesuit. And it turns out that Ogata is the same way. And that's how he used to fight when he was partnered with Commander Hikari Shinomiya, Kikoru's mother. And so it was appropriate that Ogata was the one that trained Iharu. And he told him that he is ready for this situation. He has been training for this situation. So get the confidence and go out and battle. And so this, of course, becomes an inspirational moment with Ogata having this very dramatic acknowledgement of that and flying towards the first monster. But what happens is, right at that point, another monster comes up behind him and smashes him into the ground. But due to his powers, he is able to continue on relatively unharmed. And it is at that point that Headquarters notices that his efficiency with the battlesuit has spiked up to 88%. And that gives Iharu the ability to take down one of the monsters. And so what this chapter is showing is that each one of these JDF soldiers is starting to find their niche in the battlefield. They are rookies still, but they're starting to understand how to play out the fight. And it turns out that it's not just Iharu, but also Izumo and Aoi, the other members of the JDF. And they acknowledge Iharu's kill, and Izumo immediately follows up by shooting his weapon against another monster. And although it hits the monster quite well, it doesn't seem to injure it all that much, and the monster continues to go on, and then all of a sudden you see it slow down. And so what you find out is that in the case of Izumo, he doesn't typically have the power to take out monsters of this size, but he has the ability to paralyze them. His role isn't to defeat the monster, but to give Aoi, who is a melee fighter, the ability to take him out, and using his pile driver looking weapon, Aoi destroys that particular monster. So in their case, of course, they're a tag team. Izumo will set up the fight, and then Aoi will finish it off. And so, once again, I guess this is an inspirational story with regards to specific characters that came out early that we haven't seen for a while, and it was really nice to see all this. But one thing that is coming out is even with the additional rookies coming in, there are just too many monsters to take care of, which of course becomes a major problem until Commander Narumi contacts headquarters and tells them that he's realized what's going on. It's not that these monsters are sentient and they are working on their own. They are basically just remote controlled by monster number 9. So if you were able to take out monster number 9, then you will be able to take out all of these other monsters simultaneously. So yeah, that's a nice convenient method. And of course, this moves the story towards monster number 9 now, finally. And so we expect that this will move to the next point, which will be the battle between Kafka and monster number 9. However, there was one thing that was interesting that Narumi said, which is that he will let the rookies take care of the situation here, and he will be the one that goes off and fights monster number 9. And this needs to be done very quickly, because if monster number 9 successfully absorbs Commander Ashiro or Commander Mina, then he may become a force that's unstoppable. And so I was kind of looking forward to 103 becoming the Kafka versus number 9 fight. But I'm starting to feel like this is going to be a monster number 9 versus Narumi fight. At least in the beginning, yeah, I got a feeling chapter 103 at least will cover that part. But probably at some point Narumi will be overwhelmed by something by monster number 9, and that will give Kafka the ability to come in clutch. And so it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Will it be Narumi who comes in the next chapter, or will it be Kafka? Or possibly even both simultaneously. We'll have to wait until the next chapter, and once the next chapter comes out, I'll bring out another video and then we could discuss it at that time. But this is the discussion for chapter 102. If you read it, what you think about it, your comments will be greatly appreciated. And until the next chapter, happy manga reading, and as always, jaya nice day everyone.